This video will show you how to do the Sunspots project. For the Sunspots project, you're going to download the Sunspots file, and then you're going to save this file in the same place where your Python program is going to be. So in order for your Python program to read this file, they both need to be in the same place in order for it to work the way we're going to do it. So for this assignment, what you have to do is you have to find the average of the data for every year. So you're going to have to split the file by lines, find the sum of the highlighted data, and then figure out the average for that as well, for every line. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up the file to read. So we're going to open up the Sunspots file to read. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to read the file and we're going to split it by lines. And then we're going to put that inside of a list. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to just close that file, and then I want to go ahead and show you what this file's list of lines is going to look like. So if I run the program at this point, you're going to see that it will show you something like this. Okay, so it's one big list, and every element on that list is a line from this file. Okay, so we have managed to break the file into lines, and every line is an element of this file as a list of lines. So now the next thing that I would like to do is, let's say that I want to see a single line. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say that, okay, a line is equal to file as a list of lines 0. So what that will do is it will literally pull this highlighted element that I have here, and if I run the program, then you will be able to see that single line. And a single line is shown at the bottom. Okay, so now the next thing that I need to do is I need to get this single line and I need to get the data, because this is one big string still. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the line data by getting the data and splitting it. What this is going to do is it's going to split this big string by spaces, and then what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to pull the year by just saying line data 0. In fact, let me just do print line data so you can see that, and then I'll show you print year equals year, and check, and there you go. We pulled the year. We extracted a single line, broke the line into a list of things, and now the first thing is my year. Now I need to go and find the sum of the rest of the numbers in this list. So I'll just say sum data is equal to 0. This is going to be the sum of my data, and then I'm going to make a loop that goes through my line data. Right, my line data was this list here that I have. So now I'm going to make a loop that goes through the line data. It starts at 1 because I don't want it to start at 0, because I don't want it to include the year. Right, so this thing starts at 1, so that this way it goes through all these highlighted numbers. And then what I'll do is I'll tell it to find the sum, to add the sum of each of these numbers. Right, so each of these numbers, notice how they're in quotes. That means they're strings. So what I have to do is I have to say float in front of this so that it converts it into as a number, and then we can do math with that. Now the next thing that I need to do is I need to calculate the average, and the average for this is just going to be the sum of the data, sum of all these numbers, divided by however many numbers I had minus 1, because I'm not counting the year. Right? And then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a quick print, and let's have a look at the results. So for year 1945, the average is 32.29, which is the results that I'm supposed to have. according to the assignments, as you can see. So now the next thing to do is to find the average for all of the rest of the lines, the rest of the years. So for simplicity's sake, what I can do is, this was a single line here, right? So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to comment this out. So this was just for one line, just so we don't lose it of how we did this. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is, I'm just going to make a loop that changes this whole thing. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to copy this again, and I'm just going to paste it here. Then I'm going to indent it, and I'm going to put it in a loop for j in range, and this loop is going to go from 0 to the length of the file as list of lines. Basically go through all the lines, and this here, instead of just being 0 always, which is the first line always, I'm going to change this to j, so that it changes from 0 through as many lines as we want. And this is going to find now the average for every year. And if I run the program, then it will look something like this, which is kind of messy. So let me go ahead and take out some of these prints that I have. So I'm going to take out this one. I'm going to take out the line data. I'm going to take out the year. And let me run the program one more time. And there we go. Now we cleaned it up so that it's only averages. This is not done. We need to write this to another file. So what I need to do is, and notice by the way how it takes a little while to show you all this. It will actually be done a lot quicker if I wrote this information into another file, which is what the assignment is asking you to do. So the other file is just going to be called averages. We're going to create it to be written. And the first thing that I'm going to write to that file is going to be year and average. And then I'm going to insert a new line. And then instead of using a print where I had in my loop here, what I'll do is I'll use other file.write, and I'll write the same thing that I wrote here. Okay, and now when I run the program, you will notice that this time there's a file called averages, but there's nothing in it. And the reason there's nothing in it is because I forgot to save that file by closing it. So I need to close it to save changes. Now I'm going to run my program again. And then we go in there, and if we open up the averages file, you're going to notice that now it's filled up with the averages. So this is the results of your Sunspots program.